Hi. Let's say you did everything right. You followed all security guidelines when coding, when building, when delivering, when storing, when configuring your service, and now you have a working production service in the cloud out there. The question is your service secured? Can you say anything about whether your pods are being misused? Maybe someone is trying to steal your data, or someone is using your pods to attack others. How do you know what's going on? How do you know if the requests coming in from your clients are legitimate? Maybe they are trying to exploit all sorts of vulnerabilities that hide in your service image running out there in the cloud. Hi, my name is David Adas. I'm going to talk to you about 4 use cases that emerge from deploying services in the cloud, cyber use cases, and how can you protect yourself against those situations? How do you address those 4 use cases? So, first of all, you need to understand that in order to protect yourself, you actually need security behavior monitoring and control of 2 aspects. You need to have security behavior monitoring of control of your actual pods. You need to know which of your pods is misbehaving, if any of them. And then you also need the ability to detect and filter the different client requests, because you are in production, right? So you can't just shut the service down because someone is doing something naughty, but you do need to identify that this is naughty and to filter it out such that your service will not be exploited. So let's start by identifying those 4 use cases. And it's all coming out from an article that you can find online, and I'll put the link down below. So the first use case is the case where your microservice is being misused. Someone actually has a working exploit against your microservice, and it takes some effort, maybe some time, but he's able to send requests of a certain type that would make your pod start doing stuff that you never intended it to do. Maybe even to take over your pod and run random code that would run as part of your pod from that moment on. Of course, you can restart your pod. Then all these efforts are just need to be repeated in order for that pod to be recruited again to his small army that he's creating. But you don't know which of your pods needs to be restarted and how often. What would you do? You are in production, right? You can't just restart your pods all the time, because then your service will be gone. So you need to know which pod you need to restart and when. So that's the first use case, actually, that you have a misused pod. Second use case is a very common one. Everyone knows that when you deploy any service, you're going to have CVEs. Because you depend on all those libraries, and those libraries have vulnerabilities, and they are being found and declared and published out there, and you're going to have CVEs, and security research tells us it takes about 2 months on average to fix a CVE, meaning that you're going to be living with known vulnerabilities in your services for a while, probably more than 1 CVE at a time. And you need to do something about it. I mean, you can put it in your calendar to fix that, try and check if you can fix that every 2 weeks. But that doesn't really solve the problem, right? You need to find a way to consider ways how people may exploit this vulnerability and to try and filter those out. You need to protect yourself. What happens if, in the worst case, that it's not only that your service is vulnerable, but it's also that it is exploitable, meaning there is an effective exploit out there. Maybe that exploit worked against your own service, maybe it worked against someone else's service, but you know that this exploit can be used against your service. So you are looking. You're standing in the room and looking in the eyes at that exploit, and that exploit can take over your own service. What can you do? Can you find a way to filter out any requests that include that exploit? That's the third use case. And the fourth use case is the 0-day one. That you're in a normal situation, no CVEs, everything is fine. But no, everything is not fine. You're probably vulnerable in more than one way. And you need to take into consideration that there are nice people out there who has their goal to find vulnerabilities in your service and exploit them. So you can't just sit around assuming that you are safe. You have to have protection against potential exploits coming in with as part of the requests that are running against your microservices. And you need to identify those specific requests, which include what seems to be illegitimate request and an illegitimate attempt to exploit something which you don't understand right now, and filter them out. So this game that you're playing requires you to have security behavior monitoring and control of the microservice pods and of all the requests coming in against your microservice pods. And to do that, what you can do right now is you can look at different security tools. One new security tool that came up specifically for these 4 use cases is developed as part of Knative. It's called Security Guard. And that tool, which you can now try out, it's in an alpha stage. It's the first, was just released, but in 2 and 3 months it's going to be in beta and then going to be released for production. So you can try it out and see how it can help you identify what's going on with those requests coming against your microservices and with your microservice pods. Thank you, and enjoy your day. Bye-bye.